Donald Trump Jr. appeared Monday for an interview with Laura Ingraham, where the syndicated radio host asked the president's son about contradictory reports regarding the controversial June 2016 Trump Tower meeting he attended with several Russian people. "You want any comments on that, Donnie, because they're hitting you on that for contradictions. I mean, they're calling it worse than contradictions, obviously," Ingraham said. It was a 20-minute meeting. It ended up being about essentially nothing that was relevant to any of these things. "That's all it is, and that's all they've got," Trump Jr. said. Trump Jr., they don't talk about sort of the genesis of that meeting and that these people were dealing with Fusion GPS before and after the meeting. It was a 20-minute meeting about essentially nothing that was relevant to any of these things. And that's all it is. And that's all they've got. And that is, I guess, the ultimate distraction from what's really going on in this country, which is, you have a Republican president, a very conservative president, who is getting stuff done. And they can't handle that. They will do anything they can to try to stop that, to try to block that, to try to prevent that from happening. So this is just another distraction when, again, after 2 years of non-stop investigation with everyone in the media, everyone in the FBI, the whole world is looking at this, and they have yet to produce anything that even remotely resembles what they've been talking about. Ingraham, but Donnie, did the issue of adoption, it's near and dear to my heart because I have 2 Russian adopted sons. Did that come up in the meeting with Veselnitskaya? Trump Jr., I mean, like I said, that was the primary thing that we had spoken about in the meeting. That's not the premise that got them in the room, and then they started. It was essentially a bait and switch to talk about that, and everyone has basically said that in testimony already. So this is nothing new. And like I said, I understand that's an important issue to you and near and dear to many people's hearts. But this was nothing that was a campaign issue to us. This wasn't relevant to us. And it wasn't something that we were going to do anything with. The Magnitsky Act was passed in 2012 as a retaliation for the death and human rights abuses suffered by a Russian lawyer, Sergei Magnitsky, who was commissioned by Bill Browder to investigate corruption and tax fraud by the Kremlin. The law, first passed by President Obama in 2012 and later expanded in 2016, sanctions human rights abusers worldwide, and resulted in Vladimir Putin blocking the adoption of Russian children by parents in the U.S. In April, the AP reported that Natalia Veselnitskaya had not been contacted by special counsel Robert Mueller, a curious oversight considering the sustained media interest in her June 2016 meeting with Donald Trump Jr. and its purported significance to Mueller's investigation into collusion with the Russian government. In her November 2017 testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee, Veselnitskaya told lawmakers that she had no connection to Russian President Vladimir Putin's government. She later contradicted that testimony in an April interview with NBC, in which she called herself an informant, who had been actively communicating with the Office of the Russian Prosecutor General since 2013. Trump also spoke to Breitbart News Daily on Friday.